Hey, this is Darren from Property Prosperity. I'm out here in Gillis Plains, just looking at a property for a client. It's an investment property of theirs. They actually live overseas, and they've asked me to come and check it out. They've got a tenant in here at the moment, and they're having a few structural issues with the house, and they've spent a bit of money over time trying to fix it up, trying to cover over some of the problems. But they've had quite severe cracking, and I just went and had a look inside the house. The current tenant's only been there for 18 months or so relatively new. When they moved in, everything was all painted and cleaned up and everything was all perfect. And in the last 18 months, everything started to fall apart. So that tells me there is definitely a structural issue along the way. I've gone in and had a bit of a look. The interesting thing is it's happening throughout the whole house. So in particular, the kitchen, the roof is starting to severely crack and fall in the middle of the kitchen. But even if you start looking at doors, door frames, some of the doors don't close, and not just going into the living and kitchen area, but also into some of the bedrooms. You know, some of the cupboards in the bedrooms are, not straight and flat. Some of the floors not looking straight and flat. I did get up into the ceiling, into the roof cavity, trying to work out whether I can see anything that's not lined up there. Unfortunately, it's right up the other end of the house, so I couldn't really see anything particular. My guess, it's probably something to do with the floor. It's actually a timber floor, so it's sitting on some floor joists and on top of some posts which are holding the whole floor up. So essentially what that means is, some of those have probably moved over time. The issue we're going to have to look at is it really worth fixing it? So I'm going to go away, do a bit of research, have a look at the costs associated with renovating the property, or do we just try and patch it up? And with the understanding, it's only been 18 months since it got last patched up, so every 18 months we just come and patch it up again and just try and deal with this movement for X amount of period. Unfortunately, that's just going to be a short-term fix. It's not going to fix it up over time. So long term, what are our options? Do we spend the money and rip up the flooring and replace all the structural support of the house, or do we look at other options by maybe knocking the house down and potentially subdividing? We started looking at the options to subdivide. It does fit in less than the minimum block size as far as to be able to subdivide into two. Saying that, I have subdivided a house around the corner here, and it was quite a bit, to be honest, less than the minimum block size, and we subdivided into two, managed to fit a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, single garage house on each. So, that client there, I'm currently building 2 houses for him. He had a similar situation, an old house that probably wasn't worth renovating. So now he's, going to get 2 brand new homes with really good rental return, with really good, benefits as far as depreciation benefits and low maintenance costs and warranty on the house and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to sit back, have another chat to the council, see what options are as far as development potential. Maybe have to call a few tradie mates to get them out here to have a look at what the cost would be associated with renovating it. But it's an interesting one. I think probably from my developer hat on, you're always going to get a lot of benefits from developing a property as far as subdividing to 2 gives you options as far as selling the land off or building 1 house or building 2 houses, and as a long-term investment it's going to work out a lot better. Hey Jace, thanks for joining. Hey, I should have got Jace to come in. Jace is a bit of a building expert and he owns his own building company, so should have came out and checked out my house for me. He would have given me some good tips, I'm sure. So basically that's the next stage, is to have a look at our options, put all the information together. I'll come back to the client. I prepare a report where I give them all their options so they can really make a clear decision on what the next step's going to be. It's probably going to be 200-300 pages worth of information just to make sure they're fully informed of their options. But that's what it's all about, essentially. If you're going to get out there and spend potentially tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, you really want to make sure you're well informed before you start spending that money. So even just to lodge an application to subdivide, that's $1,300, let alone the cost of the surveyor's costs and plus the actual subdivision cost itself. So you're spending some serious cash. So you want to make sure you do that with all the information to make an informed decision. So, hey Mike, thanks for joining me, and Asley, thanks for joining me too. If you've got any, if you like what I had to say, click on the like button. If you haven't liked it, still click on the like button because I really appreciate it. And if you've got any questions or you're experiencing crashing issues, put a comment in the comment box. I'd love to hear about your thoughts and what you think about the whole process. And if you want me to talk about something else in the future, or you're having particular issues, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to give you some advice and tell you the options you've got going forward. And also let you know, I interviewed Mike T today for my podcast. So if you want to find out about the best way to try and sell a house, then I'm sure you'll be interested to hear what Mike T had to say. He's He's a real estate agent out at the Gong in Wollongong. So if you're out that way, I'm sure you'll find it interesting. And thanks, guys, for joining me. I look forward to catching you again next time.